adding on to some of the things that we talked about last week with the economy, what's going on, why haven't we had a recession? I think the best way to describe this is that we're really experiencing a sea change in the economy. And I think this is really what's driving so many of the economic forecasts to be incorrect, so many of the data and data points that the Federal Reserve is looking at being inaccurate or imprecise. We're really rewriting a lot of decades-old axioms that existed in the economics world. We've got the dramatic rise of interest rates the last couple of years, and all the unintended consequences of that. Some of them are intended consequences, but then there's a lot of unintended consequences. But really, underlying and underneath that, in the economy, you just have a sea change of things going on. The workforce and how the workforce is changing. The Great Resignation that was coined, the term that was coined in the pandemic, for all the people that just decided not to return to work. The advances in AI, the rise of robots to do things. I live in Phoenix now. We see these driverless cars everywhere. The service sector changing dramatically. You're going to have kiosks taking your order at convenience stores and fast food stores. Manufacturing, how that's changing, and in every industry, really. Healthcare, banking, all these things are changing. You've got the really difficulties with affordability and the affordability of housing that is causing difficulty. So all these things and more. I'd love to hear from you. What are you seeing that's different? But these are, the economic backdrop that is facing young workers today is so vastly different than it was 30 years ago. And that doesn't mean that the U.S. economy overall isn't strong. We're all so lucky to live in the United States, and we're all still inside of by far the largest economic engine that the world has ever known. But it's changing, and these cross currents really make an impact on how it feels for you. And then also, as we discussed many times, where you live, right? If you live in Austin, Texas, or Dallas, Texas, or Jacksonville, Florida, this feels a whole lot better than if you live in an older city, Chicago or Akron, Ohio, or I don't want to pick on, but older cities where there's an exodus of people and there's population decline and there's changing industries, but still a reliance on older industries that aren't thriving. So all those factors really are causing this to be very difficult for economists to predict, and then there's a tremendous pressure on the consumer. So I think we're in for a lot of turbulence over the next couple of years, and how bad it is going to depend a lot on what industry you're in, where you live, and a lot of these factors.